Millionaire's shocking challenge to Black girl revealed. A heartwarming, life-changing journey In the small southern town of Maplewood, Maya's world was a colorful tapestry of dreams woven with threads of struggle. The crisp autumn air danced with fallen leaves, swirling around her like whispers of hope. But today, something electrifying filled the air. It felt like destiny. The whole town was buzzing. Henry Greaves, the millionaire philanthropist, had announced a community challenge that could change everything for one lucky student. And the internet had a hot take. Millionaire's shocking challenge to Black girl. The headlines screamed, could this be Maya's time to shine? With her back against the peeling wooden fence of their tiny yard, Maya listened to her mother fussing over dinner inside. Only a few feet away, an old tree held her secret, the dreams fluttering like bright flags in her heart. Impossible yet insistent. Every time she watched her mom juggle 3 jobs, putting food on the table with sheer grit, it ignited the fire in her soul. Maya wanted nothing more than to become a veterinarian, to help the voiceless creatures that often suffered alone in the shadows of their small town. But this challenge, it felt like a mountain. The whispers of skepticism chilled her. Could a girl from such humble beginnings, living with her single mother in a home that barely scraped by, truly represent the best of Maplewood? Doubt is a heavy weight, she thought, battling the voices that questioned her worth. As she walked down the main street, her mind raced with uncertainty. Then she spotted Mr. Thompson, the grizzled veteran who kicked back in the corner of the local diner, deep in thought over his coffee. He often said, Maya, a story told is a battle won, and she found comfort there. She steeled herself and approached him. Mr. Thompson, what if I'm not good enough? She asked timidly. He looked up, his eyes narrowing into slits that softened with understanding. Every hero has a backstory, kid. Yours is just beginning. You have something most folks don't. Heart. She smiled, feeling the warmth spread through her. Maybe she could overcome this, maybe. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With newfound determination, Maya discovered her hidden gift, a remarkable ability to connect with the animals in her neighborhood, comforting stray cats and healing tiny birds. This was it. The revelation felt like a sunrise breaking over the horizon, illuminating her path. Yet, the weight of the town's bias still loomed large. Will they ever see me as enough? She wondered, battling tears. The night before the challenge presentations, Maya found herself back at that old tree, the moonlit branches whispering secrets. I can do this, she whispered into the stillness. Just as she felt the quiet belief blossom, a fleeting thought pinched her chest. What if the judges see my scars and not my strength? Tomorrow would decide everything. Would Maplewood rally behind her, or let prejudice drown her dream? Morning arrived with a golden hue that spilled through Maya's bedroom window, casting soft rays onto her face. She stirred, awareness flooding back with the weight of the day ahead. Today was the challenge. Today was her chance to represent a story not yet written in the annals of Maplewood. As she dressed, each article of clothing felt like armor: her favorite blue sweater, a reminder of her mother's love, and her worn-out sneakers that had carried her through both triumphs and trials. The earthiness of the town filled her lungs, a comforting blend of fried chicken from down the street and fresh coffee brewing at the diner. She could almost hear Mr. Thompson's voice echoing in her mind. Today is the day, Maya. Showing your heart. Her mother paused in the kitchen, glancing up from the stovetop with a proud smile. Did you sleep well, honey? Maya nodded but could feel her stomach churn with excitement and nerves. Yeah, just nervous about the challenge. You've got this. Your heart speaks louder than any fear. Her mother reassured her. With a quick embrace, Maya inhaled the scent of home, a blend of hope and safety that wrapped around her like a warm blanket. The whistle of the school bus pulled her from her thoughts, and she dashed out, her spine tingling with anticipation. The school's auditorium was buzzing. Students filled the seats, their chatter bubbling like the excitement of shaken soda. Maya could see the stage, a wide space adorned with bright lights, a podium waiting to hear her voice. Every step toward it felt like a leap into the unknown. As the presentations unfolded, other students showcased impressive projects. A boy presented a robotics device, while a girl shared her environmental initiative. Each performance was met with cheers and applause. Yet, when it was Maya's turn to step into the spotlight, she felt the weight of all eyes on her. With a deep breath, she approached the microphone. The audience went silent, and the lights seemed to narrow down just on her. Suddenly, it felt like being on a tightrope so far above but risking a fall. "Hi, I'm Maya," she began, her voice shaky but resolute. "I want to be a veterinarian because I believe every creature deserves love and care." As she spoke, snapshots of her life flooded her mind. Nights spent tending to injured animals, her mother's sacrifices, the stray cats finding solace in her yard. "I know that each animal has a story just like each of us does. I want to be the voice for those who can't speak." A hush fell across the room, and she felt the room's energy shift. Rather than the skeptical murmurs she feared, she sensed curiosity and connection. There was a ripple of something deeper in that silence, understanding. But just as she built momentum, an unsettling thought punctured her confidence. Would they overlook her and her dreams because of where she came from? As the moment stretched, she took a step back, collecting her thoughts. "If I can touch just one life, I know I can make a difference," she finished, her heart racing. The audience waited, breath bated. Then joy unspooled as applause thundered around her. Surrounded by her classmates' cheers, Maya couldn't help but smile. Maybe this moment was a turning point, not just for her, but for everyone in Maplewood. She fled the stage, buoyed by exhilaration but haunted by uncertainty. Would the judges see the potential, or would they remain trapped in their bias? Just then, she caught sight of Mr. Thompson's familiar face in the crowd. His nod and encouraging smile felt like a lifeline that spurred her forward. But as the judges began their deliberation, a shadow loomed. A familiar voice cut through the applause like a cold wind. Did she really think she could win? Just because she stood up and spoke? The words echoed in Maya's mind, a stark reminder of the challenge ahead. Would her courage be enough to break the barriers built from doubt? And as the judges turned toward the audience, Maya held her breath, waiting for the verdict that would shape her future. Would she rise from the ashes of uncertainty, or would her dreams be relegated to mere hope? The silence in the auditorium was almost deafening. Maya's heart hammered in her chest as she searched the faces in the crowd. Some looked excited, others skeptical, but each pair of eyes seemed to bore into her soul. With every passing second, doubt flared in her mind like an unwelcome flame. What if they didn't see her? What if her voice meant nothing to them? The judges' three stern figures seated at the front conferred in hushed tones. The anticipation twisted deep in her stomach, and she fought the urge to shake off the weight of it. She wished she could drown out the inner voice that whispered she didn't belong. Finally, one judge stood. "Thank you all for your presentations. We've had an impressive display of talent today," he called out, his voice carrying authority. But there was one presentation that stood out, a story of compassion and understanding. Maya's breath caught in her throat. Could it be? The judge paused, scanning the crowd as if picking his next words deliberately. "Maya, you touched on something we all deeply feel. The care for not just animals but for each other. This is what Maplewood needs. A reminder that every living thing deserves a second chance." Applause erupted, surging like waves against the shore. She beamed, tears threatening to spill over. But in the back of her mind, the lurking voice persisted. "Just one moment doesn't define everything." The judge continued, "We believe in that message. Therefore, we'd like to offer you a mentorship with a local veterinarian, along with a scholarship for the upcoming community college program." The wave of applause crescendoed, mixed with a few startled gasps. It felt surreal, like she was floating outside of her body, watching this moment unfold. But it wasn't only applause that filled the room. Another voice cut in, sharp and accusatory. "That's absurd. She doesn't deserve it. What does she know that the rest of us don't?" It was Emily, a girl who often strutted around like she owned the place. Maya's heart sank as she recognized the twisted will behind those words. "Your heart doesn't win awards, Maya," Emily exclaimed, her voice dripping with disdain. "How can you possibly relate to the issues we are facing as a town?" The hall buzzed with whispers. Maya gripped the edge of the podium, eyes locked on Emily, who stood with her arms crossed, daring her to falter. Anger rose inside her. How could anyone dismiss her passion so easily? Maya, a teacher called out gently, urging her back to the moment. With a deep breath, Maya stepped forward, her voice steady. Every one of us has a story. Yes, I might be from a small corner of Maplewood, but that doesn't make my dream any less valid. Caring isn't about where we come from. It's about the commitment to change. As her words hung in the air, she felt a shift among her classmates. A murmur spread, and she noticed nods of agreement. She could see the wheels turning in their minds. Maybe they were beginning to understand her. We all have our struggles, she continued, emboldened by the flicker of support. I want to use my voice to lift up those who can't speak for themselves. Isn't that what we should all be doing? Cheers erupted from the crowd once more. This time more enthusiastic, more genuine. Maya locked eyes with Mr. Thompson again, who smiled widely, pride radiating off him like warmth from a fire. For the first time today, doubt slipped away, replaced by a sense of belonging as the positive energy ricocheted around the auditorium. Maya felt something shift within her. She was becoming more than just a girl with a dream. She was a force, ready to challenge barriers. But just as hope surged through her, Emily sneered, "This ain't over, Maya." The words felt like an icy grip on her joy, bringing back that whisper of doubt. Maya swallowed hard, facing the reality that this was just the beginning. What awaited her beyond this moment? Would she face more battles or find allies to fight alongside her? As she walked off the stage, exhilaration swirled with unease in her chest. This challenge had awakened something in her, both exhilarating and terrifying. What would it take to silence the doubt for good? And in a world of uncertainty, was she truly prepared for the battles ahead? The applause faded, but the warmth it left behind lingered. Maya stepped off the stage, her heart still racing from the unexpected surge of support, mixed with the bitter sting of Emily's challenge. She glanced back at the crowd, all those faces who had heard her words. It felt like a surreal dream, but now it was reality, a reality she wasn't sure she was ready for. As she descended the stairs, familiar figures emerged. Her closest friend Lila rushed toward her, beaming. "You were amazing, Maya. Seriously. You nailed it." Despite her thrill, Maya couldn't shake the weight of Emily's words. "Thanks, Lila," Maya replied, forcing a smile. "Did you hear what they said? A mentorship. A scholarship." Lila's excitement danced in the air, brightening Maya's mood momentarily. But like a cloud shading the sun, doubt crept back in. "I know, but no buts." Lila interrupted. "You have to enjoy this moment. You deserve it." "Maya," Mr. Thompson called, making his way toward her. His brow was wrinkled in concern. "I hope you know there's no one else who could deliver that message like you did." "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. It just feels overwhelming," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. He nodded, understanding clear in his eyes. "That's normal. But remember, you inspired people today. Use that to ignite your passion. Don't let anyone dim your light, especially not Emily." Maya appreciated his encouragement, but Emily's words gnawed at her mind. Could she really stand up to the pressure? The auditorium began to empty as she and Lila stepped outside into the crisp autumn air. The sky, painted in hues of orange and pink, felt so alive, a stark contrast to the chaos roiling within her. "So what's next?" Lila asked, breaking the silence. She looked hopeful, excited about the future that felt closer now than ever. "You're going to accept the mentorship, right?" Maya hesitated, looking eastward where the sun was starting to dip below the horizon. "I want to, but what if I can't do it? What if I fail? What if I'm not cut out for it?" The uncertainty poured out, her fears spilling open like a floodgate. "Imagine all the kids in Maplewood who could benefit from your voice. You could change lives. Like, what if someone hears you, maybe someone struggling just like you? You can't forget why you started this journey." Lila's eyes sparkled with conviction, pushing back against the encroaching shadows. "I know." Maya took a deep breath, the air crisp and sharp. "But it's hard to shake off the doubt." "It's part of being brave," Lila said simply. "Taking the leap anyway." Just then, a commotion caught Maya's attention. From across the square, she spotted Emily towering over a group of students. They looked tense and Maya's stomach knotted. Was she stirring up trouble again? "What's she doing?" Maya whispered, her heart racing. "I don't know," Lila replied, squinting. "But whatever it is, you need to stay strong. Don't let her get to you. Ignoring Lila's advice was nearly impossible though. Maya edged closer, trying to hear the sharp tones clashing in the air. Emily stood with her chin raised, the crowd hanging on her every word. Why was she trying to rally the others? As Maya moved in for a better look, Emily made eye contact, a mischievous smile dancing on her lips. Let us show everyone how truly wrong that girl is. Emily bellowed, her voice cutting through the breeze. Let us remind her what real talent looks like. Maya's breath hitched, a mixture of confusion and dread coursing through her. What was Emily planning? Did she intend to sabotage Maya and her message? Suddenly, a wave of determination washed over her. Was she going to let Emily dictate her future? Maya turned to Lila, her heart pounding. I need to confront her. Before Lila could respond, Maya marched toward the group, feeling every step reverberate with a mix of fear and bravery. As she approached, the air tense with the weight of challenge, she realized this was it. This moment would either cement her new path or push her back into the shadows. But could she face Emily head-on? As the crowd silenced and turned to watch, Maya raised her chin, ready to speak her truth. The question hung in the air. Would she find the courage to stand her ground? Maya felt the energy of the crowd tugging at her, a living thing pulsing with expectation. She inhaled deeply, steadying herself. The moment felt monumental. But the faces around her were blurred, consumed by the figure at its center. Emily. A sense of purpose surged within her, mingled with a fear she could no longer deny. Emily, she called out, her voice stronger than she felt. What do you think, this is some kind of game? The crowd shifted, eyes darting from Maya to Emily, as if they were watching a live performance. Emily smirked, tilting her head slightly, and in that moment, Maya could see the confidence radiating from her like a spotlight. You think you've gotten so far, don't you? Emily challenged, venom lacing her tone. But I'm here to remind everyone how fragile that can be. Fragile? Maya echoed, disbelief flaring through her. You think that threatening people will prove anything? I'm not fragile. What you're doing is the real shame here. There was a collective gasp from the crowd, a sharp inhalation that punctured the tension. Maya's heart raced as she saw a flicker of surprise on Emily's face. Maybe for once she'd dethroned Emily off balance. Look around. Maya continued, her voice growing louder, more passionate. These aren't just supporters. They're people who want change, who want to see their stories told. They want to hear voices like mine. So if you think you can undermine that, you better think again. The murmurs erupted in a wave, people nodding in agreement, fueling Maya's fire. She couldn't suppress the spark ignited deep inside her. She was tired of the silence surrounding her dreams, tired of people making her feel less than she was. Emily's eyes narrowed, calculating. You think you're the first girl with a story? You're nothing special. You think they care? Yes. Maya shot back, passion flooding her veins. They do care. And they care because they see themselves in me. Can you say the same? Every word I shared comes from my heart and from my life. You can't even comprehend that. The crowd was electric now, murmurs transforming into shouts of approval. The students around Emily looked uncertain, shifting their weight as they sensed the shift in momentum. This wasn't just a conversation anymore. It was a showdown. Do you really want to keep going? Maya pressed, not backing down from Emily's intimidation. Or can you finally understand that it's okay to lift others up instead of pushing them down? Emily faltered, and for a split second she looked like a child caught in a bad decision. Then her bravado kicked in, and she snapped back like a rubber band. You think this is over? You think I'll let you have the last word? In that moment, Maya understood the stakes were higher than she thought. The battle was just beginning. I won't let you control my narrative, Maya declared, her determination like armor. She felt the support of the crowd surging behind her. They weren't just watching, they were her allies now. I'll speak for the voices you choose to ignore. The air crackled as both girls stood their ground, two powerful forces colliding in a storm of ambition and defiance. Just then, a sudden shout from someone in the back rang out, cutting through the tension. Maya, what happens if you win? The crowd turned to her, awaiting a response. Maya felt her heartbeat slow time for one hopeful moment, the weight of the question tingling in the air. Did she even know what victory meant? The moment stretched, tugging at emotions that felt brand new but raw. Perhaps this confrontation was just a part of the journey. What would her voice lead her to? For the first time, Maya realized she wasn't just fighting for herself but for every single person who felt unheard. Then, with exhilarating clarity, Maya smiled defiantly. If I win, we all win. As the crowd erupted into cheers, Maya felt a shift within herself. A new certainty that each resonating cheer echoed her own growing belief. She could emerge victorious not just in battle but in the courage to be seen, to be heard, and to inspire. But what would Emily do next? What would it take to turn this fierce rivalry into something more powerful? Maya braced herself for whatever lay ahead, knowing this was just the beginning of something much bigger. Maya felt invincible, yet the weight of the crowd's anticipation was still heavy on her shoulders. She realized they were no longer just spectators. They were part of her story now. The electricity in the air was intoxicating, driving her to seek the truth within herself, to discover the message she wanted to share with the world. There was no backing down. Emily, regaining her composure, let out a harsh laugh. You think words can change anything? You think a few cheers will make a difference in the grand scheme of things? Maya took a step forward, her voice unwavering. Words can change lives. It's how people connect, understand, and fight for each other. I stand here because I believe in that power. Emily scoffed, but there was uncertainty in her gaze now. A flicker of vulnerability peeked through the cracks of her armor. Behind her facade, Maya sensed a girl who had been battling insecurities of her own. But this wasn't the time for sympathy. Maya had to keep pressing forward. You may not see it, but I will fight for those who feel powerless, those who have been silenced too long, Maya continued, her voice growing more confident. I won't let you dim our light. In the back a girl shouted, Maya, you're an inspiration. The crowd erupted again, and Maya's heart swelled with pride. She was feeding off their energy, feeling their hope ignite her own. Can you feel that? She challenged Emily, gesturing to the crowd. Can you feel how alive they are? This is not just about us anymore. It's about hope. It's about truth. Emily's expression twisted, anger battling with uncertainty. Her supporters began to waver, and Maya seized the moment. You may have tried to tear me down, but you've only fueled my fire. Together, we are unstoppable. With each word, she felt her confidence solidify like a shield. Emily's smirk faded into a harsh line, and for a moment, she looked like a cornered animal. Enough of this. Emily snapped, trying to reassert her dominance. I won't be outdone by some underdog. If you want to win, prove it right here, right now. Maya blinked, taken aback. What do you mean? Emily stepped closer, a dangerous glint in her eye. I challenge you to a debate. The winner walks away with the crowd's respect, and the chance to lead our next project. Let us see if you can back up all that talk. The crowd buzzed, murmurs whipping through like wildfire. A debate? It was risky, but Maya could feel her heartbeat quicken with excitement. It wasn't just a battle of words. It was a chance to showcase her passion, her dedication to every person who felt overlooked. All right, Emily, Maya responded, her voice echoing with resolve. I accept your challenge. Cheers erupted, but she could also hear whispers of doubt. Could she really stand against someone like Emily? What if she faltered? But then she thought of the faces in the crowd, the people counting on her. The stakes had just escalated, and with them came a swirl of anxiety and determination. Maya had never felt so alive, and yet, she felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. This was more than just a personal win. It was about proving that everyone's voice mattered. As they prepared for the debate, the crowd buzzed with excitement, and Maya felt time slip away. She had to get ready to gather her thoughts, her passion. What would she say? And with that thought came the question, would her words be enough to shift the tide? What if Emily had a strategy of her own? But as Maya stood tall, ready to face her opponent, one certainty emerged in her chest: this journey was just beginning, and the outcome could reshape everything. What truly lay beneath Emily's confidence? The real challenge was ahead, and Maya was ready to face it head-on. Maya stood at the edge of the makeshift stage, her heart thumping against her ribcage. The air was thick with anticipation, each face in the crowd mirroring her emotions. Some whispered, some smiled, and others wore expressions of doubt. She could feel the weight of their hopes pressing down on her. She had accepted Emily's challenge, But what did it truly mean? As Emily strode confidently to the front, adjusting her hair in a way that suggested she was already claiming victory, Maya remembered why she had come here today. It wasn't just to win a title. It was to be heard, to let everyone know that their voices mattered. In that moment she committed to every word she would speak. "Let us keep this fair," Emily announced, her tone dripping with bravado. "We will each have 3 minutes for our opening statements. Then we'll take questions from the crowd." Maya nodded, breathing in through her nose. She began to visualize a world where people spoke freely about their dreams and fears, where they found the courage to stand up for one another. That world was within reach, and it could start with just a few powerful words. 3 minutes begins now," Emily declared, her voice cutting through the crowd's whispers. She jumped right in. "I think we can all agree that the world is competitive. Some people are born lucky, others not so much, and that's just the way it is. If you want to succeed, you need strength, not sentimentality. Emotional speeches won't change anything. We have to work harder, expect more, and crush the weak." Maya's breath hitched. What kind of message was that? She knew she had to turn this around. "Your 3 minutes are up, Emily," the moderator called out, and with that, Emily stepped aside, a satisfied grin on her face. Maya took a moment, standing tall. She looked directly at the crowd, at the sea of eyes that shimmered with hope. "I'm here to show you that strength doesn't only mean being tough. It means having the courage to be compassionate. It means lifting others as we climb. Emotional connections are the heart of change." As her voice resonated, Maya felt the energy shift. The crowd leaned in, their enthusiasm building, and that flicker of doubt from earlier began to fade. True strength is about empowering those who've been silenced. "I believe we can do more when we lift each other, not trample over one another." She could see Emily's expression shift. The glint of confidence was visibly shaken, replaced by a defensive glare. Taking a deep breath, Maya continued. "While competition exists, what matters more is our ability to support one another. Passion fuels progress, and it's time to redefine what winning means. Together we recognize the potential of everyone, not just the chosen few." Cheers erupted, and Maya felt every word reverberating through her bones. She had ignited something deep within the crowd. As she wrapped up and stepped back, Emily was quick to retort, her voice sharper than before. "Maybe you're just preaching what makes everyone feel good. But what happens when the pie is small? Who gets to take the biggest piece?" That question hung in the air, heavy and dividing. Maya's heart beat faster. She needed to respond, to find the right words to counter Emily's harsh view on life. But something deeper began to tug at her. What if it wasn't just about winning or losing? What if it was about finding a way to make both sides heard? As the crowd's voices swirled around her, Maya realized the debate wasn't just between her and Emily. It was a reflection of the larger struggle happening outside this moment. Fighting for each other meant more than claiming victory. It meant redefining it. Her mind raced with possibilities. What if she could share the truth that had been buried under layers of competition? What if Emily had her own battles to face just like Maya did? And as they prepared for the next round of questions, another certainty emerged within her. This was not just a debate. This was a turning point. Not just for her, but for everyone watching. What would Emily reveal next? And could Maya dig deeper? To show what true strength really meant. She felt the challenges ahead would be greater than she imagined. But she wouldn't back down. She was ready for whatever lay in store. The crowd buzzed with anticipation as Maya stepped back, her adrenaline still surging. She locked eyes with Emily, whose expression was a mixture of annoyance and curiosity. The moderator opened the floor to questions, and Maya felt a tension in the air, electric and heavy. "Let us hear from the first questioner," he called out. A hand shot up from the back. It belonged to a tall girl with frizzy hair and a nervous smile. She stood adjusting her glasses. "Maya, I really liked what you said about compassion. But how do you expect that to work in the real world? Can kindness compete with ambition?" The question resonated deeply with the crowd, and for a moment Maya hesitated. "That's a great point," she replied thoughtfully. "But it's not about choosing one over the other. It's about merging ambition with compassion. We can chase our dreams while still caring for others. When we do that, success isn't just personal. It becomes a shared experience." Maya's heart swelled as the crowd reacted with murmurs of approval. She realized that her words were planting seeds of hope that might grow into something bigger. But not everyone was convinced. Emily's tone was incredulous when she responded. But what about those who don't have the luxury of kindness? They need to survive. Look, Maya, I admire your optimism, but it's naive. In a cutthroat environment, kindness is weakness. The crowd murmured again. Maya could feel the divide widening. She needed to bridge that gap, not just for Emily but for everyone who had ever felt torn between competing for their dreams and supporting others. Taking a step forward, she replied, I know it sounds idealistic, but I believe kindness is a strength. What if we built networks of support instead of walls of competition? When we elevate the lowest among us, we uplift ourselves too. She could feel her voice gaining strength, urgency layering every word. A ripple of energy moved through the crowd, and the tall girl from before nodded vigorously. It felt like a small victory, but Emily's eyes glinted, challenging her even more. Okay, Maya, Emily said, leaning closer, her words sharp. Let us say your way works. What happens when it's your dreams against mine? There's only so much room at the top. Do you still believe in supporting everyone then? Or is that just talk? Maya's heart raced. The question sent her thoughts spiraling back to her childhood, where she had watched her parents struggle. She felt that tightening fear in her chest, like being on the edge of a cliff with no safety net. Listen, I've been there, she said, her voice low but strong. I felt the panic of not having enough. But when we're scared, we have a choice. We can react out of fear and push one another down. Or we can pool our strengths and climb together. I believe in a vision where success means lifting each other up, not tearing each other apart. For a moment, silence danced around them. Emily's lips pressed into a thin line, and Maya could sense the crowd leaning in, caught in the emotional gravity of her words. But would it be enough? Suddenly, an older man in the front row stood up. I've seen both sides, he began. I've prospered by bulldozing others, yet every victory felt hollow. But when I collaborated with others, when I offered support, I found fulfillment. Maya's right. It doesn't have to be one or the other. His voice burst with passion, igniting the crowd further. Emily's steely gaze flickered, momentarily shaken. She clenched her fists but didn't speak, as if weighing the shifting mood against her hardline views. Maya felt a rush of hope. Maybe she could sway the crowd. Maybe there was still time to redefine everything they were disputing. But then, just when she thought she had begun to break through, Emily shot a sideways glance. Maya, what about me? What does this mean for you and me? If we are lifting others, should I be worried about being one of the weak? What if I don't want to change? Maya's heart sank. It wasn't just about a debate anymore. It felt personal now. Fighting for her voice was morphing into a battle to show Emily and others like her that vulnerability could be a strength too. As the weight of Emily's question pressed down, Maya saw the opportunity unfold. Could she be brave enough to challenge not only the crowd's assumptions but Emily's too? With the eyes of the entire audience glued to her, Maya squared her shoulders. This wasn't just about proving a point. It was about reaching into the depths of fear and the complexities of human connection. She took a deep breath and prepared to dive deeper than she ever had before. What if Emily revealed something about herself that shattered their assumptions? What lay hidden beneath that tough exterior? Maya took a deep breath, her heart hammering in her chest. This moment wasn't just about her. Emily was right. The stakes felt impossibly high, and the weight of the audience's anticipation felt suffocating. Emily, she began, her voice steady but tender. What if I told you I admire your strength? The way you fight to succeed. It takes a lot of courage to admit you need to compete, especially in a world that tells us we must be ruthless to win. Emily's eyes widened slightly, surprised by the shift in Maya's tone. The crowd shifted too, sensing the change hanging on every word. Maya continued, but here's the thing. Strength doesn't always mean standing alone. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is lean on others. It's okay to need help or to even be vulnerable. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. The crowd murmured in response, a mix of agreement and contemplation. A ripple of understanding began to wash over them. Maya felt an opportunity spark. This was more than just a debate. It was a connection. Emily's expression softened just a touch. But you don't understand, Maya. I can't afford to be vulnerable. I've worked hard to get where I am. I've seen what happens to those who let their guard down. Maya's heart ached for Emily, for the fear she felt inside her. I get it truly. I've been there too. I saw my parents struggle every day, and it terrified me. I thought fear was my only option, but I realized that true strength lies in trusting others. When I let people in, I found support and encouragement I never knew I needed. The audience's expressions shifted again, some nodding slowly, others visibly moved by the rawness of the moment. Maya pressed on, what if by risking a little vulnerability you actually empower yourself? It may not seem it, but you could inspire others just like you to do the same. Emily's face betrayed a flicker of vulnerability, though she fought to hide it. It's not fair, Maya. If I let my guard down, what's to say someone won't take advantage of that? Of course there's risk, Maya acknowledged, her heart racing. But look around. There are people here willing to help, to uplift each other. We're not just competitors, we're a community. Imagine if we formed connections instead of walls. Maya's passion ignited a fire in her, her words bursting forth like a dam breaking. What if we choose to rise together? To share knowledge, skills, and experiences? That's real ambition, Emily. As the silence stretched, a change began to settle in the air. The crowd was visibly moved, captivated by Maya's message. Emily's breathing was heavier now, her eyes shimmering with a hint of something. Was it uncertainty? Hope? Maybe, Emily whispered, barely audible, but it was enough. Maybe, Maya echoed, her heartbeat matching the rhythm of renewed possibility. What if we try? What if we start a conversation instead of a competition? What if I help you and you help me and we pull each other up? The crowd buzzed with energy, sensing a shift. Maya felt the weight begin to lift as they leaned closer, wanting to hear more. But Emily's eyes glinted with a mix of hope and fear, still struggling to reconcile her past with the possibilities unfolding before her. What should I do then, Maya? She finally asked, her defenses faltering. Maya smiled, feeling a warmth blossom in her chest. We start with honesty. Tell me about your struggles, the ones that keep you up at night. Let us share what we fear together. The audience held its breath, waiting for Emily's reply. Would she open up, or would she retreat once again? As hope and uncertainty danced in their eyes, the question lingered in the air. What would Emily reveal about herself next, and how would it change everything? In that moment, the entire auditorium held its breath, a silent witness to the showdown, the possibilities hanging thicker than the cool autumn air. Emily stood frozen, an internal storm playing out behind her steely facade. Maya maintained steady eye contact, something shifting between them, an acknowledgement of shared humanity. Finally, Emily spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. You don't know my story, Maya. You think it's easy being at the top? She swallowed hard, her defenses loosening just enough for a glimmer of honesty to peek through. I only push people away because I'm afraid of being crushed under expectations. If I fail, it's not just embarrassing, it's like losing everything I've ever worked for. Maya felt her heart ache for Emily, realizing they were more alike than they cared to admit. But what if we redefine failure? She said softly. What if it's okay to fall sometimes? Being perfect isn't strength. Facing our fears together is. The crowd murmured again, the energy shifting as they leaned in closer, captivated. Emily glanced around, her confidence wavering as whispers of understanding began to ripple through the audience. You think you're the only one fighting? I fight every day to stay above water. Her bravado was cracking, leaving only the vulnerability lurking beneath. But I don't know how to change. Maya took a step forward, her voice steady and warm. Let us help. It's okay not to have all the answers. You don't have to carry the weight of the world alone. We can work as a team. You can lean on others and it doesn't mean you're weak. Emily hesitated, glancing at the judges, then at the audience which was channeling encouragement toward her. A tear slipped down her cheek, unexpected yet relatable. What if I let you all down? Almost instantly, someone shouted from the audience, you won't. And cheers of agreement flooded the auditorium. Maya felt the resonance of support tighten the bond between them all. And if you do, she challenged gently, that doesn't define who you are. It's okay to fail, what matters is what you do afterward. With that, the room fell into an inspiring silence. Emily seemed to reel, her shoulders beginning to relax, the tension slowly seeping away. She turned to Maya, swallowing hard. I guess I've been so focused on fighting that I've missed what it really means to stand strong. Maya stepped back, arms open wide. Then let us stand together. Let us show everyone that being vulnerable can be a path to strength. The crowd erupted into cheers. Their voices echoed the truth they all felt but often struggled to articulate. True success lies in unity and support and a courageous display. Emily took a hesitant step forward, finally dropping the bravado. Maya, I think you might be right. Let us try this your way. As the words left her mouth, the room erupted in applause, but it wasn't just about her commitment. It was the sound of hope reverberating against the walls of tradition and prejudice. The remaining questions buzzed like a warm embrace around them. Now more conversations on how to entwine their dreams for change, reflecting the collective heart of Maplewood. As students began to approach them with stories of their own, Maya and Emily found common ground, unearthing aspirations that transcended their past rivalry. Tamar Thompson beamed from the back of the auditorium, pride shimmering in his eyes. He had witnessed a transformation not only in Maya but in Emily too. This wasn't the end. It was a beginning. As the last echoes of applause faded, Maya grasped the realization that she had risen above doubt, not just for herself, but for the community that echoed her dreams. She beamed as Emily broke out a smile too, one that warmed Maya's heart. It's time to change the narrative, Emily said, a new fire in her voice. And Maya nodded, knowing together they could blaze a trail of hope, illuminating the way for everyone in Maplewood. This moment wouldn't just change their destinies. It would reweave the tapestry of their community, leaving the challenge behind and embracing a commitment to uplift and inspired. As they walked off the stage, the crowd surged forward, voices mixing in a jubilant hum. The future felt bright. Together they could accomplish so much more than they ever could alone. The story of Maplewood would be one of hope, of connection, and of changing lives through understanding. It was the dawn of something beautiful. So now, don't wait not even one more second. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support for the journey that connects us all.